Good evening and welcome to Your Choice 2024, ntTV's coverage of the presidential, Senate, and House contests, as well as key local races in our area. I'm Avery Callens.
And I'm Brooke Deering. For the next 2 hours, we will bring you updated election coverage, a look at some of the critical issues facing all of us, including the economy, women's health, immigration, and political stability in our country.
We'll also go live at the watch parties for the hotly contested U.S. Senate seat here in Texas, and we'll be taking the pulse of our students through our social media center.
ntTV is in Austin tonight talking with journalists at the Texas Tribune as they follow the state and national races. We'll also bring you coverage in Spanish from our ntTV Noticias colleagues. But first, let's set the scene as we watch the votes come in.
To say the 2024 election cycle has been unusual would be an understatement. The Republican challenger Donald Trump is a former president but is facing serious legal issues from his previous term in office. Nonetheless, he swept the GOP nomination and is on the ticket with J.D. Vance as his new vice presidential running mate.
As for the Democratic ticket, the current president, Joe Biden, began the race but in late July dropped out. On the same day, he formally endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris as his replacement. She launched her campaign on July 21st, choosing Tim Walz as her vice presidential running mate.
While at first it seemed the GOP Trump ticket would reclaim the White House, the situation has changed dramatically once Harris began campaigning. The race has tightened into a near tie as we go into tonight's election.
But it's not just the White House that is on the line here. In Texas, the U.S. Senate seat held by Republican Ted Cruz is on the ballot. That race is being watched on national level as Democratic Congressman Colin Allred has made a strong showing.
ntTV reporter teams are live across North Texas and in Austin, and in Chilton Hall studio, we'll be talking with a distinguished panel of election issue experts.
But first, let's hear from our field teams. ntTV's Grace Grimes is at the Republican watch party for Ted Cruz in Grapevine. Grace, what's the atmosphere tonight?
That is right, guys. It is a very festive environment here at the Gaylord Texan Resort here in Grapevine. Republican Congresswoman Beth Van Dyne is holding her watch party here tonight. She represents District 24 in Congress, which covers parts of northern Tarrant and Dallas counties. As you can see, the energy here is very high tonight. Behind me, there is a live band performing, and there are over 700 people from the Republican Party registered to be here tonight. It is early on in the event, so people are just now trickling in, but I will keep you posted later in the show. That's an early look at what is going on, so let's hand it over to my colleague Chris Goodwin in the Dallas Party for the Dallas Democratic Party. That's
the Democrats are here in the Longhorn Ballroom in Dallas, and they are very excited about their prospects tonight. Besides enthusiasm about the presidential ticket, they have high hopes for Colin Allred. The congressman has been in the House of Representatives since 2018, and he was born in Dallas and is a fourth-generation Texan. Now he is hoping to change his address in Washington from House to Senate, replacing Ted Cruz. Now let's head over to the state capitol in Austin with ntTV reporter Drew Mauer, who is reporting live from the Texas Tribune. Drew?
Yeah, thanks, Chris. I'm here at the Texas Tribune, located about 2 blocks away from the Texas State Capitol. And the Tribune, they're a politically informative news website focusing on informing the voter, educating the voter, and encouraging voter participation, not only in the state of Texas, but across the nation. I'll be back later in the show with some more information about the Texas Tribune, as well as some interviews with some reporters here. But for now, I'll send it back to the desk with Brooke and Avery. Guys?
Thanks, Drew. Right now, we want to head over to our second studio in Chilton Hall, where we have a special ntTV UNT Student Social Media Center up and running. You'll be hearing from our students and others on social media about their concerns.
Also, our Spanish language Noticias colleagues are working out of the studio, and we will be joining them with a full update on voting just a bit later. Now, however, let's go to our expert panel from UNT to help us make sense of what we are seeing and hearing. ntTV's Emma Burns is our moderator for tonight. Emma?
Thanks, you two. Let me give you a quick panel introduction, and then later we'll turn to each of them later in the broadcast for their take on tonight's events and topics. With us is Professor Valerie Martinez, a political science professor here at UNT. She has done extensive research on Latino politics. Also with us is Professor Jeff Rouse, the chair of the UNT Economics Department. His areas of expertise include current economic issues and governmental issues. Also joining us is Professor Vakar Ahmed from the Department of Geography. His areas of expertise include government policy making and the politics of climate change, as well as geography and the development and underdevelopment. And we'll hear from them throughout this broadcast. But for now, Avery and Brooke, back to you in Studio B.
Thanks, Emma, and thank you, panel. Another group that is watching the outcome of this election is also here on campus, our students. The Political Science Department and the Student Government Association are hosting a watch party that is already underway over at the Union. Let's head there now with ntTV's Alexandria Teeters. Alexandria?
Thanks, Avery, and that's right. If you want to sit in on a great time while watching the votes roll in, this is the place to be. Now we're in the UNT Union in room 332. This goes until 11 p.m. and they've got a bunch of fun. They've got snacks, drinks, a bunch of fun activities and games, and a bunch of stuff going on later tonight. Back to you guys at the desk, but I'll see y'all later on with more.
Thanks, Alexandria. Events today are driven by social media, and elections have become a critical topic across all social media platforms. ntTV's Aaliyah Bordeaux and Madeline McCrory are in the Social Media Center with more on that aspect of tonight's coverage. Ladies?
Thanks, Brooke. There is no question social media and multiple platforms are the way we gather information and watch it. A recent Pew Research study reported 86% of U.S. adults get at least some news from a phone, computer, or tablet.
That same study, which was conducted just 1 year ago, also showed just over half of adults, about 54%, get some news from social media. Now, while news apps are the preferred way to get that information, that depends on your age group.
45% of young news consumers between 18 and 29 say they use TikTok as a primary news source. Reddit, Instagram, and X were close behind.
We asked students on our campus about their perspectives on important political issues, and we will share those responses with you throughout our broadcast.
Later on, we will give you the opportunity to ask your own questions to our panel of experts. But for now, let's send it back to Studio B. Avery and Brooke.
Thank you, Aaliyah and Maddie. Watching an election is daunting because there is so much information coming in from so many sources. However, at a local level, one way to consider the information is to watch certain key counties. What a few counties have done consistently in election cycles can tell political experts which way the overall vote is going. Tonight, ntTV's Jackson Berry and Aaron Erie are on that beat, and they join us now. Jackson and Aaron, what do you have for us?
That's right, Avery. At the national level, there are only 6 counties in the entire country that have predicted the actual outcome of the presidential election since 1960, and none of them are in Texas.
Experts watch these counties as a snapshot of what the nation is doing. Here in Texas, we have key counties that are critical to the predicting of how the state is voting.
Tonight, we're watching 7 counties across the state, Tarrant and Collin counties here in North Texas, and Williamson County, which is a suburb of Austin.
Jefferson County on the coast includes Beaumont and Port Arthur. Kleberg County is a suburb of Corpus Christi, Duval County just north of the Rio Grande Valley, and Culberson County east of El Paso.
We're going to follow those counties at the national and state level tonight and bring you other information about bellwether counties across the country. But for now, we're going to send it over back to the desk.
Thanks, Jackson and Aaron. We're going to take a short break now, and when we come back, a first look at the numbers as they're coming in, not only from the East Coast, but also here in Texas.
And we'll begin a closer look into some of the issues affecting our state and across the country. And of course, we will go to our live reporters across ntTV for ntTV's coverage of Your Choice 2024 as it continues. Stay with us.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us on ntTV Nightly News, live from the State Fair. I'm Jackson Berry.
And I'm Aaliyah Bordeaux. And like Jackson mentioned, we are here at the State Fair of Texas, taking in all the sights, sounds, and smells of the State Fair, and we are so excited to be here.
Yes, this is my favorite show of the year because we're bringing all the excitement from the State Fair straight to you. From the birthing barn to the slingshot, we have coverage of the most iconic and newest State Fair of Texas events. Our live reporter Mauricio Ortiz Segura is live right now under the big guy. Mauricio, what's it look like over there?
Hey y'all, it's looking pretty crowded around here right under the shadow. The State Fair of Texas, indeed. It's pretty crowded down here under the shadow of the famous Big Tex, and I brought with me some fun facts about him here at the State Fair and the State Fair itself. Did you know that the fair has been rocking for 137 years, making it the longest running fair across the nation? And did you know that with dozens of events taking place every day, there's a ton to do and see, and including the big man behind me here? You know, he's been watching over this fair since 1952. 1952, can you believe that? Now, before he made his appearance as Big Tex, he actually rolled around the state of Texas as Santa Claus. This was to lighten tensions in Texas after the devastating effects of World War II a few years later. And after a few years, Big Tex received a nose job, a new pair of boots, and you know, he was ready to hit the State Fair of Texas fairgrounds. Now, since then, he is still standing as a representation of Texas joy and resilience, as he did over 50 years ago. And as you can tell, he is very loud and very booming here to welcome you here to the State Fair of Texas. That's all from me and Big Tex. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Mauricio. Not too far from where we are is the State Fair's Midway, where you can find rides to make you scream your head off. ntTV's Assistant News Director, Brooke Deering, has all you need to know about the Super Midway operations.
The State Fair Midway has geared up to strap you in and launch you into thrills as big as Texas itself. Home to more than 140 rides or games, Midway has been preparing its return for every adrenaline junkie in town.
We actually take over the grounds on August 1st, and we start setting up all these things that you see out. We actually put them out there, so we put them on wheels and actually roll them, and then some of them we put together.
If you make your way behind Big Tex just past the Cotton Bowl Plaza, the State Fair Midway features fan favorite rides from the 212-foot State Fair Ferris wheel to the towering 500-foot top of Texas Tower.
State Fair of Texas has an independent midway, and what that means is I don't book a carnival to come in, but I actually go out and hand-pick rides from around the United States. We inspect everything as it comes in on the trucks, before it even gets here, and then as it's being set up, and we inspect every day.
All you'll have to do is buy the required tickets from one of the coupon booths and hop on a ride that will leave you saying,
I almost lost my mind.
It's like an out-of-body experience, kind of.
Oh, this is real, you know?
I didn't know it went backwards and forward.
I'm proud of myself for doing something very scary.
It was worth the wait, though.
But there was one thing that Rusty said that stuck with me.
If I'm tired in the morning, I don't drink coffee, but if I need that boost of energy, I get on the slingshot. Now, I'll go from 0 to 80 miles in 1.2 seconds. That gives you that shot of adrenaline, and you're awake for the rest of the day.
So, you know what I had to do. And make the ntTV news director ride with me.
Avery, hold on.
Gosh, the slingshot looks like so much fun. Jackson, do you ever see yourself going on a ride like that?
Absolutely not. I cannot do heights. It makes me sick. Brooke is so brave for doing that. But there are some other less terrifying options for fairgoers like myself to enjoy.
Yeah, you're so right. And let's take it over to Aaron Sharp at the Creative Arts Building to see what else is in store. Aaron?
Thanks, guys. The Soap Bubble Circus is happening behind me right now in the Creative Arts Building, and the bubbles aren't the only things popping off in there. The Creative Arts Building has loads of different competitions and art exhibits that you, yes you, can register your masterpiece to be shown to the millions of people that visit the Texas State Fair. There is everything from glue issue to the Great Pumpkin Challenge. If arts and crafts isn't your style, I'm sure the cooking contest will get your attention. Amateur cooks from all around the state compete to bring home the coveted blue ribbon and maybe bring home some bragging rights too. These events always end up with some of the best culinary concoctions you have ever tasted. And hey, If you wanted to get the kiddos involved too, the Creative Arts Building has kids versions of every single one of these arts and crafts competitions, so the entire family can have loads of fun. Now, if you guys will excuse me, I'm gonna get in there and start popping some bubbles. So it's back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Aaron. Aaliyah, it's beginning to feel a lot more like State Fair and a lot less like Texas. Aaliyah, were you surprised when you walked outside your front door this morning?
Surprised? I was confused. How can yesterday be a part of the same week as today?
That's what I was wondering, but hey, I'm not complaining. Let's kick it over to our weather anchor, Grace Esquivel, to see what's going on with the cold front. Grace?
Thanks, Jackson. Thanks, Aaliyah. It is a beautiful sunny day here at the State Fair of Texas. Now, it was a little cold this morning, but it has heated up slightly throughout the day, making it a perfect day to come to the fair. Currently it is 68 degrees with wind speeds at 7 miles per hour, but tonight it will cool down slightly, getting down to 57 and feeling like 55 with wind speeds at 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow it is going to heat up slightly, getting up to 73, but it will only feel like 70 because of a nice cool breeze at 10 miles per hour. That's all I have for First Look. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Grace. The Leon Hart Lagoon has found itself home to some prehistoric visitors. Dino Time with Professor T-Rex features multiple fan favorite dinosaurs that kids are sure to love. And as you can see, this show means serious business with dinosaurs large and small ready to stomp the stage. Now, this is the very first year of Dino Time's debut after the dinosaur exhibit was introduced last year. To increase traffic, the State Fair of Texas worked with LTDM Entertainment to produce the amazing show you see today. And their goal is to educate and entertain future paleontologists, and the turnout did not disappoint.
And so we bring real life dinosaurs through the time portal so that everybody can interact and get an up close and personal view of these dinosaurs. So this is Trixie. She is our baby T-Rex. And this little guy is so fresh out of the egg that he doesn't have a name yet, but this is a baby Parasaurolophus. I love the audience reactions. Like you see them seeing the dinosaurs for the very first time, and that is something you cannot replicate. So I love the audience responses.
Coming up next, we have the latest on the new State Fair of Texas regulations.
And are you looking to save a buck on your next trip to the State Fair? Well, we've got some deals when you come back.